guys? Welcome to a new episode, brand new season, Balling Out 2021. Or I'm sorry, 2020-2021 NBA season is officially underway. We are back to it. I'm your host, Sean Robinson. Got other host, Grant Rhodes, here with us.
No,
And, you know, exciting season this year. Saw Grant's team win it all last year, so
sure
I'm,
we did.
I'm hoping for a little bit differently. Um, today we're just gonna keep it short and sweet for you guys. Just cover, who we think are surprising teams, most surprising teams, both the East and the West, and then who we think is gonna come out the East and the West and eventually maybe win it all. Let's start with the East, Grant. Who you think was your top team, your most surprising team that you see can do the most here?
Well, I think for me it's pretty clear and obvious. I think it's the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, with everything they acquired, Kevin Durant and Kyrie,
Mhm.
everyone's talking about them. Everyone's calling them possible super team if they were to get James Harden as well. Clearly, I think it has to be the Brooklyn Nets when you have a player like Kevin Durant of that with that caliber and Kyrie Irving doing what he's doing. Um, they're going to be a very key team to focus on, and I think they'll have a great year this year. Um,
Mhm.
Along with the new coaching changes they've made and staff changes throughout the offseason.
Oh yeah, yeah. I would have to agree with you right there on that one. I've been watching some preseason games, and I have to tell you, offensively wise, Kevin Durant looks like he just had a year off to get better. I mean, I don't know.
Honestly,
Yeah, he's still pulling
he's
up
looking
threes.
explosive.
Still pulling threes up,
He's
come down the
dunking.
court. Yeah, and dunking. Yup. So I think him and Kyrie, it'll be kind of cool to see what they can do together. They kind of been excited to play with each other. I listened to KD's podcast a couple months ago, and they seemed pretty excited. Although Kyrie is a big and what if just because man
Yeah,
is completely different dude. I mean, from
I think he's lost it.
mentally,
He's lost it completely upstairs. He's got. He's working on fumes up there. I
man is
worry
sage
for
in the
my
court.
guy. Yeah, honestly, he's a character to say the least.
He really is, yeah. But and then yeah, like you said, the supporting cast too. They got Karis LeVert, which he's supposed to have I think he'll have a nice season, maybe a breakout year. They got Joe Harris back, and then other supporting cast and Jared Allen, and DeAndre Jordan. So that team, I think maybe not shock some people just because they got Kevin Durant and Kyrie, but I think they can definitely make some noise in the East. And
Absolutely.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
But then I think another sleeper team, or kind of you could say under the radar team that I got my eye on, is the Atlanta Hawks. I want to see what they do this year. I want to see what they're all about with some new additions, in Rajon Rondo, maybe some leadership skills there, along with to help out a new and improved, Trey Young, who
Hmm.
I believe the man's a certified baller. He's just, I think he was in his sophomore year last year. Like
Yeah.
that's insane, averaging like 30 points. So we'll see what that team can do. I mean, it's the Eastern Conference, so it's not as star heavy. It's not as powerful as the West, you could say. So
Right.
it'll definitely. I got my eye on them. I think they'll be a very intriguing team, and I think they
Mm.
may do better than some think this year.
Yeah, yeah, and they got added some veteran leadership in like you said, Rondo and Danilo Gallinari too, coming from
Absolutely.
OKC. So oh, and didn't they get Bojan Bogdanovic from
Bogdanovich,
Sacramento?
yeah, I believe
Yeah,
they did. Yeah, because
yeah, they got him too. So that'll yeah, I didn't even think about them. That would be a pretty surprising team to see. I'd have to say my second, maybe not surprising team, but I kind of want to see what the Miami Heat will do after coming off the finals trip last year. With Jimmy Butler, Goran Dragic, and Bam. They lost Jay Crowder, but kind of want to see what Tyler Hero if he's gonna. People are saying he's gonna have a better season than he did last year. He's improving, so that would be interesting to see as well. So
yeah, I would agree. I would agree 100% there. And I think they'll be very interesting because, I mean, we didn't see too many offseason moves with this team. I mean, for the most part, they got their core group coming back, and I mean, basically, they're just saying run it back. You know, they want to see what they can do again, and I think it'll be interesting for sure.
Yeah, yeah, me too. Um, I do want to say one team I don't know about in the East is the Philadelphia 76ers. They're kind of, and just because, I mean, yeah, they got a great coach in Doc Rivers. I mean, I shouldn't say great. I should say and coach and mid coach, because he
Yes, he's a
did just
certified
but another
bum,
3-1 lead.
certified bum.
But they'll be good. And then the Wizards, I kind of want to see what Russ and Bradley Beal have up their sleeves. Once again, they're in the East, and we know the East isn't, as good as it used to be. So I kind of want to see, what they do with those two guys. Obviously it's only those two, but they got a nice supporting cast. They got Denny Avia, the rookie, Thomas Bryant. They still got Davis Bertans. So I think they could, maybe slide in there at the 8-7 seed, maybe.
Yeah, I think that team definitely is going to be very interesting to watch. I mean, whenever you get Russell Westbrook like that, like, I mean, eyes are going to turn, and you'll get some attention. But like you said, it'll be very interesting seeing what him and Bradley Beal can do together on the court. And who knows, they could sneak their way in with it being the Eastern Conference, and they could get that 7, maybe 8 seed or something like that.
Right. I
But
also want to give out a special shout out to the Detroit Pistons. Don't know exactly what they're gonna do.
nope.
Their drafting and their off season was kind of questionable. I watched a couple games of preseason. They looked maybe, but it'll be interesting to see what the home team does. So we will
I
find
would
out about
agree,
it.
but with
Yeah.
with that being said, though, who do you think is going to come out of the Eastern Conference there? Who do you see coming out?
You know, I want to say Milwaukee or Brooklyn, just because Milwaukee, they got Drew Holiday. In Brooklyn, obviously with KD and Kyrie, as long as they stay healthy. But everybody says Milwaukee every year, but they fall short. But they did acquire Drew Holiday, which is a better shooter, better defensive player. So maybe he can bring something to the table. Eric Bledsoe is not able to, but I don't really know. I'm not really sure about that. Who do you think is gonna come out the East?
I mean, I'm making a bold prediction here. I'm only picking one team. I think the Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, they have to. Literally, that's exactly what they did this offseason was they signed Giannis, to a full max extension.
Hmm.
You know, secured the bag there, and then they got him the help that he wanted. He needed some help, of course, and getting Drew Holiday, I think, was a huge extension to get, along with Chris Middleton, who, I mean, maybe not that perfect number 2 option, but I mean, if you're pairing him with Drew Holiday as a complementary and number 2, I think that's extremely solid. And I mean, Giannis has definitely got something to prove this year after coming up short in the last couple of years in the playoffs, some would say. So I think
Hmm.
the Milwaukee Bucks have all the reason to get there. We'll see what happens though, but that'd be my prediction.
Okay. All right. So both there in Milwaukee. That sounds, be surprising to see. Yeah, hopefully you're right. Giannis does have a lot to prove. Two-time MVP, back-to-back MVP, and he got Defensive Player of the Year this year. So yeah, he does have something to prove and something to do. So now we'll move over to the Western Conference. I think the first team, exciting team. I'm gonna say Phoenix Suns. I think everybody would say that they got Chris Paul. We saw what they did last year in the bubble, went undefeated 8-0. So some people are, seeing if it was just a fluke or if this team is legit. Obviously you had Chris Paul, great floor general and everything, and they added Jay Crowder. So it'll be interesting to see what those guys over in Phoenix can do, especially they're in that same division with the Lakers, Clippers, Golden State. So that division will be pretty exciting.
Yeah, that division is. I don't think it gets any better than that. I mean, that's pretty solid right there.
Yeah,
But
might be the best
I think
division in the league.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think anyone can match it. But with that being said, though, there's only really two teams I have my eyes on the Western Conference. Obviously we got the Lakers, Clippers, Warriors, but some two teams I want to see specifically are the Dallas Mavericks and the Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets just because everything they did last year, the playoffs, absolute phenomenal. I think run it by itself. Took out your Clippers. Embarrassed them uh, on national television in front of millions. And I mean, they still get flack for it, so that's how it's very significant. I mean, let alone the fact that it was, the second 3-1 lead they come back from just that playoffs. But
Yep.
right there alone, I think that says a lot about that team, a lot about that grit that they have. And I mean, overall, they're a very, very young team. I mean, the way I see it is, they only have room to improve. Unfortunately, they lost Jeremy Grant, in the offseason, which I think that was kind of a big loss because he could definitely play that defensive side. He gave him that advantage, and he got a couple points here and there, but overall, it was pretty big defensive loss. But then with the Mavericks, I want to see Luka Doncic go. I want to see him go at it. I think this is his year to possibly earn MVP. He can show the world exactly what he's all about. Hopefully Kristaps can remain healthy. Obviously he's had his problems in his NBA career, but I think
Mm.
if that team is healthy, I mean, I think that is a extremely powerful duo in those two guys right there. Along with Steph Curry, one of the best shooters, in this game right now, shooting about 40 some percent from the 3-pointer in his career. So, with all those people, I think it's going to be a very interesting year for them. And the Mavericks are definitely another team that I would have my eye on in the Western Conference.
Yeah, I would agree on I got Luca as winning MVP this year. I mean, so far preseason, at the beginning, I think he could do it. Just from seeing what he did last year, I think he's only going to improve. It was his second year, sophomore season, so I think third year he can lead this team to some pretty good things. Um, I got to mention my Clippers. I got to see what they're going to do. I mean, not too much change on the roster, but the coaching staff is a lot changed. Got rid of Doc Rivers, brought in Ty Lue, um, and then the big what if Paul George. What Paul George are we going to see this year? Are we going to see MVP form Paul George from 2 years ago, or are we going to see last year's Paul George, which I hope is not last year's Paul George.
Pandemic P.
Yeah, Pandemic P. I do
Uh,
not want Pandemic P, man. Um, that'll be terrible. Um, yeah, and like you mentioned, Golden State. Obviously, it's unfortunate that they don't have Klay Thompson. Everybody was excited for that. I think Steph, they still got Draymond. Drafted James Wiseman. I think maybe they can make a little run for it. And do something. Obviously, everybody's looking at the Pelicans to make some noise this year. Um, but I want to see, what Houston is going to do. If if they do end up trading James Harden, I believe they will not be a playoff team. Well, obviously, I don't think they will, just because you got John Wall and Boogie, but those are two guys that have been hurt for the past 2 years. So, dealt with major injuries. So, but if they keep James Harden, they got him, they got Wall, they got Boogie, they got Christian Wood, which I think he's gonna have another breakout year. So that was pretty exciting, once again. And I think it'll be tight to the last game, just like it was last year. Who you got coming out the West, obviously.
oh, man. Ah, well, here's what's about to happen this season.
Oh,
So there was a whole bunch of off-season moves. Big time stuff went down. People are in new environments. Some Clippers are elsewhere. Maybe they joined the rivals. Who knows? But all I know is that the defending champions got better than they were last year,
you think
and
so?
they
You think?
still got and they still got the best player on the planet. And so what it comes down to, a simple equation here is Lakers are going back to back, and that's just how it's got to be. That's what's gonna happen. LeBron will raise up number 5, and then we'll go from there.
Uh, yeah, I'm obviously, yeah, I'm obviously gonna say my Clippers. I want to see them do it this year, but they got to make it to the Western Conference Finals first, obviously. So,
That's facts. That's
I'm
facts. There
keeping
we
it
go.
small. I'm not gonna say, last year I was like, oh, they're going or they're winning it all the way. This year I'm a small goals. I'm gonna put it, make it past the second round. Just make it past the
Wow.
second round.
Okay. There we go. That's a
But
manageable goal, maybe. Maybe.
yes, sir. If they make it past the second round, see the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. I think they have a chance. I think they have a chance to go and win it
They
all.
got a chance to push it to 5. You're right. You ain't
5.
wrong there. Yeah, they could push it to 5, maybe. I mean, maybe.
We'll see. Year
Montrez comes out
18.
there and puts up a double off the bench.
We'll see.
Kawhi ain't gonna be too happy.
I don't think I don't think I think the Lakers, they got better offensively, worse defensively. Wesley Matthews, Dennis Schroeder, Montrez, like those are guys are good offensively. Montrez has a little bit of defense, but he's kind of a defensive liability, and we saw that. I mean, Jokic abused him in the paint, that whole series. Um, so they don't have that rim protection like they did last year with AD, Dwight, and JaVale. But they got LeBron,
They
the
got Marcus
second best
Paul. What do you
player.
mean? They got
Oh yeah.
Marcus.
Well, oh yeah, they do have Marcus All, but I mean it's old Marcus All, so he's not going to be defense player of the year like he was 10 years ago or whatever. So
Yeah,
it'll
he'll
be
lock up
interesting.
Zubac, though. No problems there. He'll lock up. I mean, I don't know if I'd say the Lakers got worse defensively too. Though. I mean, Dwight Howard especially. I think that's the major loss. I mean that I it does suck because I mean Dwight when he got in there like he played hard and he knew what he was doing. He's got some NBA experience on him, and so
Mhm.
losing him definitely hurts. Down low like that. But having Anthony Davis down there, I mean, I think that speaks for itself too. I mean, he easily. I mean, he could be right there with Defensive Player of the Year as well. So, um, I mean,
You think he's
who
gonna
know who
be in
knows? We'll see.
you think he'd be in conversation for MVP this year?
Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think so.
Okay. I was just asking because a lot of people, I've seen a lot of things, Giannis and AD, who's better and stuff like that. So I mean, if AD puts up better numbers than last year, I think, I hate to say it, but I think he could, be in contention for MVP. I don't have a problem with Anthony Davis actually. I just have a problem with LeBron. Anthony Davis, I have no problem with. I like Anthony Davis. I have no problem with Anthony Davis. Rocks the LeBron. I liked Anthony Davis since day one, so I don't care. Yeah, I don't like that he's on the Lakers, obviously, but I respect him and I like him. I like him as a player.
Yeah, AD cool. AD is a good guy, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, that's pretty much the West. Doesn't get much better than that. We all know it's going to be a great conference, great season. Only team I'd say that got worse is obviously OKC, just because they lost like everybody. So I don't see that team. I counted them out last year. I do not see them making the playoffs this year. If they do, I mean, oh wow.
Oh, yeah,
So
someone
just
needs
oh
to do
wow.
something.
But
Seriously. Oh, I mean, RIP to our friend Josh.
yeah,
He's been with the Thunder for a good while. He's seen 0 championships, 0 everything. So, um, heart goes out to him. You
yeah.
know,
Josh, I know you're gonna watch this. I'm sorry, bro. I think it's time to pick another team.
honestly, yeah, it's over. I mean, I don't know anyone that roots for the Thunder anymore.
Honestly, I don't know anybody that rooted for the Thunder since they had KD.
Yeah, that's
Honestly.
fact. That's
Yeah,
facts.
but
100%.
yeah. So season starts on Tuesday, December 22nd. We got two great games. You got Brooklyn Nets against Golden State Warriors. KD against Steph should be an exciting one. And then you got the LA rivalry, LA Lakers versus the LA Clippers. I'll definitely be tuning in for that game. So I'm excited for the season. Uh, Excited the basketball's back. It was a quick turnaround, but I ain't complaining at all because I'm glad to see some basketball again. And I think it's gonna be a good year. Hopefully there's no I wish, injuries were like off like in video games, those weren't real things. So we could just see everybody go at it all year, healthy and stuff. But uh, you know, wish the best, especially for the Clippers. And hopefully they can make to the Western Conference Finals. Lakers. Enough said.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yes, sir. So that's all for us today. Make sure to comment, like, subscribe. We'll be doing, these episodes, a couple times a week, stuff like that. Make sure, just talk about basketball, what we like to do. But this is Sean Robinson, Grand Roads. See you guys next time.